Right guys, welcome back, where we've got this Mini Cooper S R52 with the W11 engine, with the front end already stripped off, so it's already in service mode. And today we're going to be getting onto quite a few things that need addressing. Now, as you can see, this is how you'd put the Mini Cooper S's into service mode so you can gain access to everything, especially the supercharger, which is down here. We've got to access quite a few things. We're going to be changing quite a lot on it. We've got to be removing this intercooler, obviously the intercooler horns from here, the intakes, taking them off to get the intercooler out. We've also got to get the valve cover off. We've got loads of things we need to be doing to completely change it. Today we're going to be focusing on doing the pulleys, because the pulleys are long overdue. As many of you guys know, if you watch my R53, we went and done all the pulleys, and that includes the belt tensioner. And obviously that needs to come off to be able to get next to the supercharger. Got to take the supercharger pulley off, got to take the idler pulley off, got to take the crankshaft pulley off as well, and just take every pulley off that needs replacing. So let's not speak, let's get onto it. So if you'll see right here, we've got the crankshaft pulley, we've also got the idler pulley as well. Now this one, you can hear there, that don't sound good at all. And this is the noise that we were hearing, and I think the old owner was hearing when you started up this car, and he thought it was a supercharger. It's this idler pulley right here. Now what ends up happening is the bearings break down over time, and also oil from behind this crankshaft pulley, the seal ends up leaking and throwing oil onto this pulley, causing it to start grinding, and that is extremely loud. Even when you're driving, it sounds like a hissing noise, very nasty noise, and it sounds like a supercharger, which is not. It's this pulley right here. So we're going to be taking that off, and that's a 13 mil. Then we're going to be taking off this pulley, which I believe is a 15 mil. And then what we're going to have to do is get our pulley tool on it, which I've still got my tools from the last Mini I had. And we're going to take off this crankshaft pulley, which I'll show you how to do it. So you can hear that one, and the reason I'm trying to show you the noise this makes is so when I put on a new one, you'll see the difference. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is just quickly remove that. Just letting it come off quickly. And that's the old pulley off. You can see how badly worn that is. Really badly worn. So that one's going to be going in the bin, and we do have a new one already. Then obviously you're going to need to get your 15 mil, which I was right, it's a 15 mil on this. And we're going to have to take off this bolt because we need to put our crankshaft pulley tool remover into there. So we'll just knock it with our big impact gun. Just like that. And that's the bolt out. As you can see, it is Loctited on. So now that one's off, we do have a new bolt as well, which we've got coming, because at the moment we don't have the new crankshaft pulley. So I've got a new one of them coming as well, along with a new front crank seal as well coming. But we are taking this off, ready to do it. What we do have is a new idler pulley. We have the supercharger pulley. We have the new belt tensioner, but this one we're waiting for. There's been a delay on them, which is completely fine, but I need to get this off anyway. So I'm showing you how to take it off, and do make sure to order yourself a new bolt, because as you can see, it's not good to put the old bolt back on. They're only like a tenner, just order a new one. So if you can see, that won't budge. So what you need to do is we're going to be using this tool right here. You guys would have seen me use it before. You just screw that in and screw it down as far as it will go in. Then you'll get this tool here. And what we've got to do is we'll back this off as far as we can. And I'll show you why that is in a second. Then you've got these bolts here that literally screw into here where they're meant to, but they're a bit too thick for this pulley. So what I have to do is try and find myself some kind of different bolts to use to put into there, different sizes, so then that way we can extract this pulley. So you'll see here, I've just had to makeshift some bolts. So we're going to try and put these in. These are come off some motorbike equipment that I've got, and I need to back this out a bit more if I'm going to make this work. They're shorter bolts than they should be, so I just need it to really grab. So we're just shorten this down as far as we can, so then that way, like that, it will go against it. And they do fit in, it should do anyway. That, and just like that, there we go. That one's now in. Now, like I said, you just have to really make sure we realign it, which we have. You can feel it pulling, so what we want to do is just bolt these down a bit. Try and bolt these down as far as we can, just like that. So we don't need them to go all the way in, we just need them to go down just enough to be able to pull pulley off. When we knock this bolt, which it should do now, it's sitting on the back, that's all you've got to feel is make sure it's sitting on the bit that you put in. Then we're going to need to get our 90mm socket and just like that until it comes off. If you can see, that is the crankshaft pulley off. So that's the crankshaft pulley now off, and many people were saying, why am I even replacing it? It looks like there's nothing wrong. I like to just use peace of mind and do replace them, purely because they do go wrong and they are known to go wrong. This is an original BMW part as well, which is stamped up there. So if I don't, it will fail, and it's got a harmonic balancer inside, which ends up causing a lot of vibration through the car when they do go. So that's why I'm just going to replace it to be on the safe side, because I don't want to come back down here and have to do it again, saying it's only cheap. These are only around 50 quid, so it doesn't make sense not to replace it. So this right here is our front crank seal, and it doesn't look like it's leaking at all. It actually looks fine, but you can see all the oil around here now. That'll probably be from the sump area down here, but the sump doesn't look like it's weeping too much, but still, there's no oil around here where there would be if this was leaking. But there isn't, and it will be all up here as well. But I don't know, for me, I end up replacing it just to be on the safe side, purely because otherwise, if you don't, you run the risk of it leaking and you have to replace it anyway. And while we're here, we're better off to, it's only 7 quid, so we're just better off to take it out and replace it with a new one, which I'm waiting for the parts on that. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is put on the new idler pulley here, then we're gonna go up there and I'm gonna show you how to remove the actual belt tensioner as well, because that's all corroded and needs replacing. So this is our new idler pulley, and it is a Febby part, and you can see there, it's completely different to the old one. And we're just gonna put that on, screw it in, and you can hear there's no noise at all when you spin it, not like the other one. So we'll just tighten that one down. Just like that. And you can see there's no noise coming from that idler pulley. Not like the last one. So now what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna lower the lift, because we need to gain access to the top of the engine, to remove all the engine mount, to be able to gain access to the belt tensioner to take that off. So here we are, guys, and now we're going to be removing this engine mount right here. But to do that, I'm going to have to put a trolley jack underneath, obviously to support the engine when I remove this engine mount, because this engine mount's in the way of the belt tensioner. Also, I have to heighten the engine and bring it up a bit past the chassis leg, purely because otherwise I won't be able to get to the supercharger pulley to take that off. And before we start doing other things with the supercharger, I need to get that pulley off, because it's not something you can actually do when it's on a bench. Trust me, I know that. So I'm not gonna be trying to do that again. We're just gonna get this off and then take off everything we need to right now. So we're gonna go ahead and start disconnecting everything. So we need to disconnect these pipes right here, just like that. So we can move them out the way. And now we're gonna have to take off this ground wire, which is a 13mm. Take that off. Now that's out of the way. Now what we're gonna have to go and do is release the engine mount bolts. So they are 16mm bolts to be able to get to these. So let's just get them out. And that's the other one out. Then we've got 2 located just down here. Another one out. And that's the other one out. Now what we've got left is this bolt right here. And there we go. Now we should be able free to lift this engine mount out of here. Just like that. So now what we're going to do is just heighten the engine a bit more. And now we can get to all the tensioner bolts. So you can see the tensioner right here. That's the first bolt we're going to be releasing. You can see there, that's the big bolt out. Now we've got quite a few small bolts around here, which we just need to get, which are down here. You'll be able to see them. They're little 10mm bolts that hold it to the side, and you've got one at the bottom as well, which I'll show you. So you've got one bolt just down here, and you've got another bolt, which you can possibly sit just there underneath that straw, which you need to remove, and then that will take off this whole belt tensioner. That's one of the bolts out. They're very, very tiny. Now we're gonna go underneath to quickly just remove the other one. And that's one of the other ones, it's a tiny one. Okay, so we've got one more bolt, literally just down there. You might be able to see it. I think that's a 15. That's the one we need to remove. It's right at the back there. We've got to take that off to bring off the whole tensioner. And we've got to bring it out from down the bottom. You can't bring it out through the top. And that is the other bolt out. And this right here is the old tensioner. And you can see there on that pulley, look how badly worn up it is. It ain't making no noise, but this has been on here for too many years. You've got to think, this is an 06 car, and that's never been changed. And like a lot of people, they don't ever change it. Probably the spring's gone as well, innit? Everything's gone. So yes, we're gonna be replacing that. We do have a new one. We're gonna put a new one on. So the next part is the supercharger pulley. Now this is the part a lot of people like to see. Now to do this, you've got to spin this cap off, which you can see here. I'm just spinning it off, just like that, until you get it off. And then that little plastic clip comes out, so the pulley is free. Now, what I'm thinking is we might have to move this ground cable completely out the way, because we're gonna need to get our pulley removal tool onto there, and we're not gonna have enough space with this ground cable in the way. So we'll just take that completely off. That way we don't damage it. And now we've got a lot more access to that pulley. So now what we're gonna go ahead and do is we'll just put our pulley removal tool on that. So this is my pulley removal tool, and you'll see here, a bit corroded. I've had it too many years. So just bear with me. Wiggle it all round. So it goes something like this, if I remember, just like that. Then you put the bolts in. Obviously you need to tighten them all up, which we will in a minute. Just want to get them both in, get them both started. Just tighten them up, and just like that. We need to make sure they're tight. So just gonna make sure they're tightened down completely. Now we've got this bit that needs to go on. This is the bit that presses the pulley off, this bolt right here. So we need to back that off a minute. To make sure all this is tightened down completely. Just like that. Now we can put this bolt back in here. Now my job here is very simple, to try and stop that going down while I'm hitting the pulley off. And there you have it, one supercharger pulley off the car. So you can see there now, guys, that is the old supercharger pulley. And now we're ready to put on the new one, which I'm gonna bolt it on now, because it doesn't make sense not to. So you'll bolt on the new supercharger pulley, which I'll show you. So this is our new Cavs lightweight pulley. This is only a 17% pulley. This is what we're gonna be bolting onto here. You see it will just go straight on, obviously, but it will fit on straight away purely because we've got to release the bolts that hold it on. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to release all these bolts, 4 bolts. They're only tiny. Do not use an Allen key on it. I always prefer to use the Torx on Allen keys because otherwise Allen keys can end up stripping them. And I have done that on my last Mini where I need to go and get a new bolt because it stripped out the bolts. So do not use an Allen key. See, I'm just using the Torx to release all the bolts. Just like that, we'll just take them all out. All the bolts, make sure you keep the washers as well, because if you lose the washers, you will be screwed. Make sure you do that. A lot of people do struggle with getting this part off the pulley to pull it on, but you don't really have to. You just need to try and pull it into place and knock it back. So we're just going to get my rubber mallet to knock it on. Just knock it into place. Right guys, so that's now the cab's pulley on. Obviously it does take a bit of whacking to get it on, and to make sure you sell it all the way back, because if you don't, you'll be in problems. Now that's on. Now we're putting our bolts. Do not lose your locking collars that go around the bolts. Just do that and that. And whatever you do, do not strike these with a normal hammer. Make sure you use a rubber mallet of some kind. You strike these with a normal hammer, you could end up damaging the whole pulley. So do not do that at all. You see, I'm just going to turn it to line it where I need it to go, so I can tighten up all the bolts. So I'm just going to tighten these down. Just one tighten down, another one. And if you don't know what these do, these push out the locking collar on the pulley to make sure it clamps towards the supercharger so it can't come off. Just like that. That's now our lightweight pulley on this Mini Cooper. So now what we'll do, we'll just bolt up our ground strap back on, because that's now done. We needed to do. We've now done that part. Our ground lead back down. And now what we're going to have to go and do is put our belt tensioner back through, bolt all that up as well, which we'll go ahead and do in a second. Right guys, so as you'll see, I've now put on a new belt tensioner as well. You guys know how easy it is to put back in. You just got to upper and lower the engine constantly while you just slot it through to pass the chassis leg to get it back round over the pulleys, and then just put the bolts back in the same way of removal. You saw how I removed them, you know where all the bolts are. It just goes back. It's even easier purely because the new tension is always already pre-tensioned. So it's already held back, ready for you to put it on a lot easier, where the other ones, obviously you can't take the tension off them, where these ones already are. They come with an Allen key in them after you put the belt in to release the tension on them. So it's a lot easier to put back on than it is to take it off. And I put that one back on now. So that's everything now replaced down there. Like I said, the only thing we're missing is the crankshaft pulley, but once that comes, we'll do that, the front sill crankshaft pulley, and that's all the belt side system done. We're going to be moving to the top of the engine and focusing on that after, but that's everything done at least there. We just have to take off a few other things and service everything that we need to do on this engine. So that's it guys. So I hope you've enjoyed me working on this W11 engine today, and obviously we've got a lot more videos to carry on with doing this engine, but for now that's all of it. And like I say, obviously the crankshaft pulley ain't here yet, so I can't actually reinstall that. Obviously I'll do a video reinstalling that and putting a new bolt in so you guys can see that. But that's everything completed as of today. And obviously the next video you'll be seeing is us tearing it down from the top end, because we're going to start tearing everything down from the top end so we can gain access to the supercharger and everything else we need to gain access to overhaul this engine before it goes back on the road and we can actually enjoy this car fully. So thank you very much for watching guys. BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.